What's up, everybody, man? It's really Quan, the house flipper, all right? So, one thing a lot of people don't know about me is that when I get on the internet, I'm not always just scrolling or watching real estate videos. I don't. I'm more of a apply it type of person, right? But I've heard a lot about Dave Ramsey, and I think to start my journey on, reacting to real estate content, I would love to watch this because I'm going to be teaching y'all and also learning from what he has to say, all right? So, let's see what he's talking about. I'm interested to see.
Thank you for joining us, America. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. We're glad you are here. Dean is with us in Clarksville. Hi, Dean. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the call.
Sure. How can I help?
First off, thank you for what you're doing. You've done a lot for my wife and I in our financial aspect of life.
Good.
I am 25 years old. My wife is 23.
Mm-hmm.
We're making about $30,000 a year, and following your principles, we're debt-free except for $32,000 on our home.
I'm sorry, you said $3,000. You're making what? $30,000?
We're making $30,000
a year
per year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I said we're debt-free except for $32,000 on our home.
Okay. Good.
Okay, that's smooth.
We're also wanting to save $10,000 to $15,000 somewhere around there for a car.
Mm-hmm.
And the main question that I have.
So what I would say is, I don't know if I'm willing to save 10, 15,000 for a car, or would I rather put 5,000 down on a car and pay payments, because I don't like tying up capital. Cash is king. In certain situations. Let's see what he say though.
I've been working for my dad since I was 14, general construction, and I'd like to start flipping houses. Mm-hmm. So my question is, how do I get started in that?
Okay. Well, let's back up one step. If you're making $32,000, I probably wouldn't have $15,000 tied up in a car.
Wow, I just said that.
If that's your household income, because you don't want more than half your annual income tied up in things that are going down in value.
Depreciating.
So I'd probably back the budget down on the car a little bit. But then back to your flipping houses question. As you know, you said you've been following some of our stuff. I don't borrow money, and I teach people not to borrow money. So that means flipping houses is a little difficult from your situation, because you'd have to be going into debt to do it, obviously. And I'm not going to set you up for that. It's actually how I went broke when I was your age. I was flipping houses, and I had $3 million in debt on house flips, and the bank got sold to another bank. They called our notes, and it took 2.5 years for me to lose everything I owned. I don't want to put you on that gravy train. The gravy's not good. So, I just don't want that plan for you. So instead, what I would tell you to do is this. One is, if you have the ability to find a house cheap enough that you could flip it and make money on it, then you have the ability to tie that house up and sell it to another investor that does have money. And so I actually made good money doing that after I went broke. I had no credit and I had no money because I had gone through bankruptcy, but I did know how to dig up a deal, and I had been doing that. So I would find a property in foreclosure, for instance. I'll make up some numbers. Let's say I found a $50,000 house in foreclosure, and I could buy it for $21,000. I did this a lot. And I would write a contract with the owner to buy the house in the next 5 days for $21,000.
So me being in New York, that sound good. But it don't work like that. So let's say the house go under foreclosure and they getting ready to foreclose on it within 30 days. Closing at least takes 30 days. On top of you trying to convince the people like, yo, sell me the house before you lose it. They literally will rather lose it than make anything on it. So in New York, for me, it's a little different. But I know in other places, closing is a little faster. They close in 3-4 days, week or 2 weeks. Legit. We got title search and all the surveys and all. Like it's difficult in New York. It's if you familiar with like pistol permits and stuff, it's very similar to that. But let's see.
Subject to my partner's agreement, contingent upon my partner's agreement. And then I would go and talk to real estate investors that I knew that wanted a house of that type and sell it to them. And maybe I had 21 was the contract, but I might sell it to them for 26, which is still a great deal on a $50,000
That's wholesaling
house.
Wholesaling.
But I'm making $5,000 on the spread on the contract, and I paid nothing. I didn't pay up. I never bought it. I just sold
Right.
the contract, sold the position, and then another investor went in and bought it. Now, one of the reasons you're wanting to flip houses is because you know how to do construction, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, and that plan that I just outlined doesn't involve you doing any construction.
No.
What you've got to be careful of in the house flipping business when you do construction is you don't want to buy a house, go into debt, and you go in there with your sweat and fix the house up and then only make wages that you would have made working for somebody else fixing their house.
For sure. For
So,
sure.
I mean, if you go to work for somebody doing a remodel job, they'll pay you to do that, right? And you'll make a profit,
Yeah.
and you don't have to go in debt to work for, Joe and fix up Joe's house over here. He'll pay you, your construction costs plus a profit. And
I just went through that. I bought a house for $2, right? And I'm all in about 70,000, sold for 111 or something like that. But it had a lien for 16, so you minus that 16,000, you had 95,000. Minus realtor and real attorney fees, you down to probably about 80,000. And so what you make 10,000, but it took me damn near 9 months. To actually work on the house was like 3 months. And all of the other in between closing, like I was just explaining to y'all, took so long that it ended up being 9 months. We still ain't closed. It's March 17th. Let's see what else you got to say, though.
if you don't make your wages plus a profit that you would have made on a regular job, plus make money on the investment, then you didn't really make money on the house flip. You just are buying a house so you have a remodel job. And you can get remodel jobs without buying houses.
Right.
You can get them for other people. So make sure you're not just paying yourself out wages when you're doing your own work like that. I know a lot of guys that swing a hammer and know how to use a paintbrush that have fooled themselves into thinking they're making money on the houses, and really all they're making money is on the remodel. And if you're not making more than you would have made doing the remodel for somebody else, then you don't need to be doing the house deal. And they'll
That's
say,
a
oh,
great
well, I can
perspective.
go in and I can fix it up for X or Y. Yeah, well, you're not counting any profit on your remodel job. And you would have made that profit had you been working for somebody else on a remodel job. So make sure you don't make that mathematical mistake in your estimates on your business plan on your flips. So I would start out just doing some flips and get some money piled up that you didn't own, like I was talking about. And then once you get some money piled up, and if you want to do some side remodel jobs for some people, do that. And if you want to start working for some real estate investors, do that. Or maybe you go in with somebody that's a real estate investor, and they give you a piece of the profit in return for you doing the remodel, and they buy the house with their money. And that way you're not in debt. There's a lot of ways to skin this cat rather than you just going down the bank and borrowing money to flip houses, which is a really good way to go bankrupt. Not just because I did it, but because a whole lot of people flip this house has bankrupt more people than just about any other program out there. And it's just not as easy as it looks. And so you get in there and actually do some flips, do some other stuff, and learn the business. And then when you've actually got real money that you put into the deal, you'll do a lot better deals because you'll have some experience under your belt.
Hey guys, Rachel Cruz here. Hope you...
So what I will say is basically, let me get this up. Basically, what I will say is that I actually got my first property through first-time homebuyer programs. Rented out one unit. When I rented out the one unit, it was already rented. Sorry, for $1,000 a month. My mortgage was only $800, so I'm profiting $200. But I use that $200 for my utilities because I already don't got rent or mortgage because they paying it. Right? Boom. I ended up using a higher money lender. So I'm big on higher money lenders because the only thing in collateral usually, at least my deals, is the actual house. So if I default on the house, then the lender just takes the house. So I'm big on actually using other people's money. And this is just a different perspective. I appreciate his perspective. But me personally, I recommend people going through higher money lenders because they also will give you the money for the rehab, right? So if the numbers make sense, you pretty much good. All right. So I'm going to just keep dropping more of these videos. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I need y'all real perspective. If y'all like these videos, y'all got to let me know, man. All right. Say less.